Now that we have the coolers on, I want to talk about quartering. So say you have a Lipizzaner, you have a gray horse, and you have a winter show, and the darn thing's filthy, and you have to bathe them, all right, or you have to shower them. Really, with the white horses, with the gray horses, you probably have to bathe the darn things. You want to do it in quarters, all right? So I already showed you, if you can, please use warm water. You squirt the shampoo into the bucket. It'll make it all sudsy, all right? And then you quarter the horse. So you do a section at a time. It's called quartering, all right? So you would pull the blankets back and you would wash his neck and the front of his shoulder and his front legs, and you would get that done, all right? Then you might quarter back a little further, and then you might do his barrel, do this section, bathed, shampooed, washed, scraped, right? Scrape the water off, done. They're still warm here, okay? So that's done. Now, guess what? You keep this part warm. So then you pull your coolers up. Horsey's all toasty warm. If you want to add a third cooler, it's fine. Just pile them on. Pile the coolers on. It's totally okay. Layer them. All right? That can hang there if it wants. You strap them all up here. Hello, buddy. He thinks this is funny. Doesn't really understand what the point is. Oh, and this cooler is on inside out. Not that we would ever know. Okay, so both sides, obviously. So his neck's already shampoo bathed. His midsection's already shampoo bathed, done. Scraped off, done. Now that part's keeping him nice and warm, right? And then you just quarter the hind end. So you just roll this up, right? Your horsey's still nice and warm up there. And you do, and your horsey doesn't walk away. Come on, you look like a prize fighter. He looks like Rocky. Da-da, da-da-da. You look like Rocky. Look at you go. So, now that part's staying warm. Do this whole part. Get this whole part done. Get his legs done. Cover him back up. And you can always add another layer of cooler. Perfectly okay. And so then if you want to add another layer of cooler, fine. And then you can do his tail. And so now he's all warm and cozy. Do his tail, make his tail all clean and gorgeous. Pretend he's white, pretend he's a Lipizzaner. He desperately needed a serious shampooing. Shampoo the heck out of the tail. Condition the heck out of the tail. Shoshin the heck out of the tail. And then this. And then, like I said, if you want to add another layer, I've got 2 other coolers hanging there. If you want to add another layer, add another layer. Scoochie your body over. Good boy, stay full. I know he's dirty. It's been raining. He's been standing in the mud. All right, so now what do? Okay, so now, rule of thumb. If you can still see steam coming up off of them, keep adding layers of coolers. You want to hold the steam in their body. You don't want the heat escaping their body. So add another layer of cooler if you need to. Then they get to hang out and you don't want them to roll. So I have a ring in the stall where I can tie him, where if he was wet and I didn't want him to roll, I can tie him in his bedroom, or you can leave him in the cross ties, or whatever your barn, whatever system your barn has. You don't want them rolling at this point. And close the surcingle. So what Anna asked was at what point do we do the face? So you can do the face whenever you like. You can do the face first, or you can do the face last. It's the same in the summer when you're showering horses and you're taking the sweat off of the horse. You can do their face first or last. Remember, always sponge off their faces. The articles I have written have asked you to please sponge their faces off. But you can sponge them off first or last, it doesn't matter, or during, it doesn't matter, you decide. Be really, really careful with shampoo on their faces. Really make sure that the shampoo is well diluted and that you don't let it get in their ears or their eyes, and really make sure you rinse it well so that you don't leave any shampoo on their faces. I pretty much never shampoo their faces. I usually just use water, use warm water. Okay. Okay, so here we're done, right? He's been quartered. There's no steam coming off of him. He's standing in the cross ties or in his bedroom tied so he doesn't roll. You don't want them to roll in all these coolers. And then what do? Well, you check them every, 20 minutes. And you start taking off the layers, all right? So say he's got a third layer on. Pull that one. Let him hang out in two. Then when he stops steaming and he's starting to dry, you might pull this one. And then he's just hanging out in one, right? So what you're doing is you're gradually acclimating him back to the cold without taking a chance of him catching a chill, all right? So now we're down to one cooler, and say he's almost all the way dry. Say he's 3/4 of the way dry, right? Well, there's a couple things you can do now. It's a little tricky if you have to leave the barn. That gets a little tricky at this point. So, but you can actually add a sheet over the top of the cooler. You can. So if you've got a waterproof sheet or a waterproof blanket and you got to go, it's the end of the day and you got to get home to make dinner for your children. Excuse me. Hey. Over. Boy. You can, it is okay to put a sheet or a blanket over the cooler and let them sleep that way. We prefer not to do that, but you can do that. The other thing, if the surcingle was still on, so if he's just getting finished being drying and the surcingle's on properly, you can go to this phase also, right? And leave him tied up like that. Let the neck start acclimating to the cold, all right? So say you've hung out long enough and he's dry and clean and dry, just pull the last cooler and throw on your sheet or blanket. And there it is. That's the, your beauty boy. Good boy. Oh, Dan. And there it is. So that morphed into a video, an educational video about coolers. It just morphed into that. But it covers both showering or bathing in cold water, using the coolers to quarter, and also morphed into a video about coolers. And I'm standing here on purpose because I kind of want to see if he's willing to bump me with his booty, but he's a good boy and he's not. So he's seeing me as a barrier and he's stopping from bumping into me. Obviously, you guys, make sure your horses are okay with the coolers. You gotta throw them on, throw them off, throw them on, throw them off, throw them on, throw them off, slip them off the side, slip them off the back. They gotta be like so humdum, I don't give a darn. That's what I was wondering if he was gonna do. Good boy. We're kind of training at the same time. Good boy. And I think that's it. So we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.